extra towels. I drip dry. She drip dry.
Welcome to the Drip Dry Podcast, where we let it all hang out. I'm your girl, Jasmine Christine.
I'm Faith Marie.
And I am Maya Monet.
We are three best friends here to share our life with you guys in our 30s. And if you are back, this is a part 2 of the Father's Day episode. Yes. And we're just showing love to all the dads out there, our special dads and grandfathers in our lives. Yes. So you have to stay tuned to see what else we talk about.
We appreciate y'all.
Let's go. What do you think the greatest lesson your dad has taught you, or that you've learned from your dad? Whether it be like he verbally like said it to you, like this is something I want to teach to you, or it was something that you learned by watching him do something.
How to give to others like Jesus. How to be of service with no expectation. Because it's the right thing to do.
That's a good thing. Not a lot of dads teaching that these days.
My dad still does that, and he taught me that by example.
So it wasn't like hey, you should do this. It was like you learned it.
Like the other day, he went over and helped Demonte's grandma. I think he trimmed some bushes for her or did something. I had no clue. And then we were talking on the phone, and I know I had seen him. I went to my grandma's house because my job was right by her house down and paid attention. And he's like, when he called me, he said, let me know when we make it home. He called me. He's like, yeah. He's like, I seen Nani today. I was like, oh, did you? He's like, yeah, I went over there and trimmed some bushes. You know, she really wanted them trimmed. And he's just that type of person. Mm-hmm. He's just going to do it because it needs to be done. Like our Uncle Earl, his kids live out of town. My dad takes him to the hospital. My dad picks him up. My dad makes sure he has what he needs while he's in. He just does it. He does it for my grandma. He goes to the store for her. He just does it. Mm-hmm. He's always been that way. If somebody needs help, he's gonna help them.
That's nice.
That's my.
And they're like, how much you want it? Yeah, how much you want? If God put on your heart to bless me, great. If He don't, I didn't do it for that. Mm-hmm. I didn't do it for that. Mm-hmm. I did it because God put it on my heart to do it. He put it on my heart to be a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's a good lesson. Love that.
That's a good lesson.
I feel like both of my parents are like that. Hence.
Yes, very much so.
Both of my parents are givers.
Yes,
they are.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's okay. When I get rich, I'm giving it.
I know. The second I get money, I'm going to give you more than just a candle,
Watch.
Mom.
What about you?
I think the biggest thing that my dad has shown me and spoken to me is like just to know my worth and how a man should treat me. Mm-hmm. That's like the biggest one because just because it was actively what like he was learning from my mom, which I think every father goes through that too. Like they're still like this is still their first life as well. Like, they're still going through the motions and figuring things out just like we are. They're just 10, 20, 30 years ahead of us.
Right.
So, you know, my parents aren't perfect. They have to learn from each other. And from learning from each other, he's, like, if my mom and my dad are going through something and me and him are riding in the car, like, he'll just say, like, you know, what I did to your mom wasn't okay. You know, never let a man do that, you know, but here's what I was thinking when I was doing that. But like, don't accept that. Like, don't ever let Elijah do that to you. You know, speak up, do this. Like, I'm glad that your mom showed me this, and that, because this is how a man should treat you, which I think is what a father should do. That's what a good dad should do. And that's like one of their primary jobs is to show them the man that you want to be with later.
Yeah, for sure.
And then to show that man.
To this day, my dad still opens my door. He still opens my door. He still carries my bags. He made me, but he also taught me. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
In that sense. Like, my dad always opened my door, but he also taught me, okay, yes, I'm opening your door. If your man is opening your door, he should only have to open one door. So he would open my door, and I would reach over and open his before he got to the car.
Oh, I see.
He also taught me on the receiving end. Yes, this is how a man should treat you, but you give that love back to him.
That's great because a lot of men don't do that.
Yes, like my dad taught me both sides. He did.
Yeah, it is. That's really good. That's really good.
He
I think
did.
Elijah's
Okay,
going to be
Daddy-o.
like that.
Daddy, yo.
Elijah's going to be like that with Emiliana, for sure.
Mm.
For sure. Because
Like,
Elijah is
realistic
so much about,
expectations.
like, men need respect
Realistic expectations.
first. And, you know, we're a team. If I give, then you give as well. Like, he's all about the reciprocation and everything. So I think he's going to be exactly like that. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the biggest thing my dad.
I like
What
that.
about you?
I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the one thing that I can think of the most that comes up, and I don't know why I feel like it comes up often to me, but it's the very first thing that I think about, like, is, and I forgot how long ago I learned this, but anytime I go somewhere where I don't really know where I'm going, my dad always
Yep.
told me, you better know how to get back home.
Yep.
No matter where you're going, you better know how to get back to home or where safety is.
Familiar.
So
Somewhere familiar.
It didn't matter if I was out of town. It didn't matter if I was at a friend's house. That's the first thing that's in my mind when I'm going somewhere that I for sure am
Know
like,
how to get-
I don't know where I'm going. I'm using a map or something, because it was kind of like, in a sense, you know, what if you don't have technology? What if your technology goes out? Or, you know, back in the day it was MapQuest, so you had to map. Like,
Yeah.
what if, you know, what if you lose it? What if it gets thrown away? Like, you should know how to
Yeah.
get back home. And I think the first time I'm thinking about, like, that I had to use that was I went to a friend's house and the parent was going to bring me back home, and I had to tell them how to get back
Yeah.
home. And he was like, you better know how to get back home. And so till this
That's
day,
some good advice.
I'm always looking at, whether it be the street sign or it's a landmark or a, you know, this colored house is on the corner,
Yeah.
so I know I got to make a right here or whatever.
Yeah.
I take that with me everywhere. I'm out of town and I'm walking on the street and we're just going up the street to find something. So that's why, like, whenever you guys moved and I was like, okay, I'm going to a new house. I'm not going to the apartment anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I was, you know, obviously paying attention to me getting there, but
Yeah.
I was more so paying attention to, okay, I know I've got to turn at this. This colored house is on my right.
Yeah.
So when I come back, it's going to be on my left and I need to turn here.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where I am.
Oh,
That's
okay.
always like the first thing that I think of. But I think something that my dad's never spoken to me, that I've just seen him do, is to he dates my mom. So like they still go on dates. They've been married for over 30 years.
I love that.
But they date each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or they send the, you know, texts throughout the day that say I love you, that you know, let's plan this together, or my dad has shown me that no matter how older they get, he still opens my mom's door or still pulls out her chair or does certain things for her that makes me basically, in a sense, like, don't settle for anything less, because
Yeah.
even when you get older, those things still need to be applied. It's
Oh,
not okay, I'm just doing it because
Because we're dating.
we're dating right now.
Yeah. I'm
And
trying to
then
get
when
them
I get, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, when I get older,
Yeah.
this shit's not going to fly. It's like, no, even when you get older, you're still opening. And when I say doors, I mean not just like, oh, we walked in a restaurant and he opened the door. Like there's no door literally that my mom has to open besides like if she went to the bathroom by
God
herself.
bless.
She
Okay.
usually does not pump gas. Like when she had her own car, she was not pumping gas. If anything, she would literally go to my dad's job and they will switch cars if need
Wow.
be. She was not pumping
Oh,
gas.
wow.
Ooh.
She's never been at a gas station and she got out and pumped gas and he was in the car.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
But I've seen that before, where a guy sat in the car and the girl got out and pumped gas. So it's like my dad's never like verbally said,
Yeah.
you need to do this and make sure he's doing
Yeah.
that. It was just his action showed. And he's even done that for me. If we're in the car together, I don't get out and pump gas. He will get out and pump my
dad
gas.
would do that. Mhm.
Like even if I
My
say
dad
like
would do
I'm gonna
that.
pay for it or whatever, he will still
Get out and pump
get
it.
out,
My dad,
pump my gas.
hands down, every time.
Um,
Yeah.
Or if we're at a restaurant or whatever, like he'll open the door for me, things like that. So it's like an expectation for the guy that I'm with.
Yeah.
And I looked up to it so much growing up, where it would get to the point where I think I was like maybe still like 12, 13, and he was opening my mom's door, and I was standing there just like my mom, like just waiting for him to open my door. Like,
Hello.
and I think one time he was like playing with me, and he didn't, and he started walking around the car, and I was like, Dad! And he just walks back over and is laughing and opens my door. But
That's funny.
that's probably something that like I'll never forget.
Oh yeah, just
That
based
was, like,
on how
not
you're
a-
saying it, you can tell that he's really left a mark
Yeah,
with
almost
that.
made
Oh,
me
absolutely.
And
for
that's
sure.
Yeah, that's so important. That's
He's
so
imprinted
important.
on me.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I think Elijah will be like that. I want to, I mean, our daughter's only 1 year old, but I want her to, like, when she gets a little bit older and more aware, I want him to start taking her on dates like that and showing her like what a man is supposed to do. And then I'm in the spot where I'm showing her like, you don't necessarily need somebody to do this for you, but it's the right thing to do. And this is him showing you respect, that he loves you, that he wants to do these things, and it's making his mark as a provider, which in our household, that's, how we believe the man is the provider and head of the household. So I really want Elijah doesn't have to do so much of that now because she's so young, but I think like 2 and up, I think she's going to start being aware of like, how does daddy treat mommy? How does daddy do this? How does daddy do that?
Oh yeah, because they're watching everything and they
Oh,
look
yeah.
up to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. She's a mommy's girl right now, but I think she's going to turn into a daddy's girl. I feel it in my bones, man, because he's going to be the fun parent, I think. I think he's going to be the fun dad. I do.
Well, a lot of times I've heard people say you marry or get into a relationship or you're longing for a relationship with a man that's like your dad.
Yeah.
God.
And I sure did
Demonte
that.
and Marjorie was the same.
And
I did that.
I
Elijah and my
sometimes-
dad are
it's
the
so-
I
exact
look at him
same
so
and I'm
person.
like-
comfortable to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because if I could get somebody who does what my dad
Your
does,
daddy is your first love. A
if
daddy is a daughter's
somebody is
first
like
love
my
for the
dad,
most part.
For the most part, yeah. He was my second.
bitch,
but
I'm
yeah.
golden. Like,
It was my second, but yeah.
golden.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a few things that I would like, oh, I wish they will be into this or into that. Because my dad's
sure,
like, my dad's like not into sports. So like, not that I'm saying like I'm like, ooh, I'm into sports, but like, my dad's not the one that's be like, okay, let's go to a basketball game or let's go to a football game. Like I would enjoy, like I enjoy going to a Cardinals game or whatever. But like, yeah, my dad'll go, but he not really, they, get a score or whatever. And he's like, all right. And he's like, all right, I'm done. Like back to the food or let's talk about something.
Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't mind having somebody who was like into that.
But you
Yeah.
say that now.
But not saying like that's their like one thing, but like I've been in a relationship with somebody where like they were like heavily
into something.
into sports or something.
Yeah.
But if I had somebody that was like my dad, I would feel like I hit the jackpot.
Oh yeah.
Because the way my dad is with his kids and with my mom is definitely something admirable.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if I could get that, y'all can't tell me nothing.
She in there like some more. I was gonna say something else, but this is the Father's Day episode, so I'm not, just in case my daddy watching. I love you,
He watching. Hey, Daddy-o. How you doing?
Daddy-o.
Certain ones he don't.
He's like,
Depending on
yeah.
what the topic
Like that
is, he be
sex
like,
episode. I'm not watching
I'ma
that.
sit this one out.
Yeah.
And then your dad commented under and was like,
He sure did. That's the thing, though. Like, stuff like that, I feel like...
he support us for sure.
I'm trying to think. I've had certain conversations with my dad about sex, but it wasn't anything as deep as what I would talk with my mom about. But like, I'm trying to think of a like certain conversation where I could like give you like context
That's
of
why
like.
I just laughed because I just had one with me and my dad.
Did
Is
you?
it- I feel like
And I just instantly thought of a time my dad
Like in your adulthood, like within the last couple 10,
No,
15?
that's the thing. I was
Oh, was you
like
younger?
fresh out of high school.
Okay. But that's not bad though.
No, I came home and I had just left Demonte's school. Came back and my the back of my hair.
Oh my God.
Oh, so he
He
knew.
was like, "Where you was at? What?" You was with Demonte. He was like, "All right, chickie."
Oh my gosh, that's
He
cute.
was like, I know
That's
what
cute,
y'all was
though.
doing.
He's like, "You a little late for curfew."
No,
It's like,
my parents pretend like I am still a virgin. I had a whole child.
Which, like, obviously we know that's not true.
Okay.
Whoa, calm down.
you is girl.
I might be backing it up a little bit, but
A
Look, you married, girl. The bed of marriage is undefiled.
undefiled.
Did this
I'ma tell
girl
you what
say
God
a little
loves.
bit?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Girl, you look good. Once you,
She is a lying
My
mother.
parents, yeah. I mean, in the hospital, just had a baby,
baby,
and they, I'm still virgin, pure angel.
that's right.
Love you.
Mm-mm.
And my mama eyes, I ain't never had sex.
Yep.
We gonna keep it that way.
Yep. No, perfect.
Y'all silly.
Perfect.
Do you guys have like godfathers in your lives?
I don't personally have a godfather.
You don't?
London has a goddad.
She does.
I just have a godmom.
Who's your
They've
godmom?
never appointed me a goddad.
actual godfather.
Just my godmom. Charlotte, she's the best.
Oh, Charlotte.
I mean, I could guess
Charlotte.
technically say like her husband would be my goddad.
Yeah,
Like
Kurt.
those would be my godparents.
Does it?
But I'm not.
Does
I'm not
expire?
like close to.
Never.
I wouldn't say expires,
I
but
guess when
if
you're
your
grown.
relationship, I would say no. But like I still refer to her as my godmom. Like if I
Oh,
talk to her,
yeah.
like that's my godmom. Like
guess
if
but
something
like
were to happen.
legally, like
Depends on
after
the-
18, it expires.
I think
I'm
it depends on like the
assuming?
Well, yeah,
relationship.
you wouldn't. That wouldn't be a person that's like my guardian. But I would
Right.
say if something happened to both of my parents
Yeah.
and she was still here, she would definitely be looking out for me. Like, hey, are you good?
Oh,
How's
yeah.
London
Okay.
doing? That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's like in a sense of like she takes ownership of me.
Because
but like,
that's what godparents
she-
used to mean. Like,
Yeah,
if
like
your
if something
parents
happens
passed
to
away,
me-
you go to your
Right.
godparents.
right. So
Yeah.
yeah, London's got. She has godparents.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
got parents.
Neil and Kim. Love ya. But yeah,
I don't have.
I just have a
godparents.
closer relationship with my godmom. Obviously, I could consider her husband my goddad. But
Yeah, because she wasn't married when
it's
you was
not.
born, was she? She wasn't married to Kurt.
No, she was not.
Yeah,
that is true.
so-
She was not. There you go.
By
So
marriage, he's your
right.
godfather.
So that makes
Okay.
sense. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why don't I have a goddad?
By
Okay.
marriage.
When
That's
I
your
was
guy.
born, that
Yeah.
was just my mom's best friend,
Yeah.
and so that's how that came about. But
Yeah. I will say
Yeah.
with Emiliana, Elijah and I talked about this. We have a definite like God mom in mind, but we don't have a God dad. And then I was like, well, if we picked a God dad that was married, how does that work? Because I don't want her, I want him. You know what I mean?
I would say not in
It
that
might not matter.
sense. I would say it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Only because she would still have two families.
yeah.
In a sense, looking out for her. Because you're not always gonna like who that person's married to,
Yeah.
and if you try to base it off of that, it can get tricky.
Right.
But, then,
But I
okay,
would say at
so
least making sure she has the options of. If something were to happen to us tomorrow, obviously your family would care for her. She wouldn't be
Oh
without.
well, yeah, she would never be without.
people, but-
she has
so yeah,
enough
like,
of y'all.
she
would
Y'all
have-
would take her before anything.
That's why I'm like, when you say godparents, they're not what they used to be.
Yeah, they're really
Because
not.
It would go to the next of kin. Like,
Correct.
you would, if your grandparents are still alive, you go live with your grandparents. If
Yeah.
you're, you got an aunt, you go live with your aunt. Like,
Yeah,
unless your godparents are like those kind of godparents, they're like,
Yeah.
no, she's like,
You'd have to get
that
it in
relationship.
writing
One
somehow.
thing that I am thinking
In
about
the-
though
in
is
the, in their will, in your parents'
Yeah.
will, they would put it in their will.
if your parents couldn't care for the child,
yeah,
maybe they have a disability, maybe they're too old, so
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
so that in that sense I feel like my parents would obviously, I feel like they would do fine, but they're also at an age where like they can't do a lot of running around and
Yeah.
ripping and running, and so I feel like she would probably do better. Like if something happened to me tonight, she might do better with Neil and Kim. They're a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got a daughter close, closer to London's age.
Yeah.
But obviously, my parents still love London and they would love to care for her. My mom would figure it out. But
Yeah.
just thinking about all the extra stuff without
Yeah.
going into detail.
Well, honestly, that's what I think when I think of like Emiliana and giving her godparents. I'm like, who could raise her pretty much as close as possible to
To
how
what you
Elijah
would.
and I would raise her
That's how
and
you
want to do
that's
the
how you
ripping and
choose-
running. And
That's how you choose the godparent.
exactly. It's like we need to have like similar beliefs. I need to be in my grave with peace, knowing my daughter is like getting the best of the best in all these different areas. And
She's got a village.
yes, yeah.
I
But
feel like I know who you'd pick, but I won't say it on air.
no, because Elijah would kick my ass if I said anything. Really? Yeah, just because we're
I'm
not.
sure you
we're
wanna
not.
do
we
some
haven't like
big
set
reveal.
anything in stone. Yes, and I would want to do it like in a fun way.
Really?
That's how. Girl, you ain't see how dramatic her telling us she was pregnant
I
was.
feel like that's usually
was the
decided
best.
like before the kids get here.
Sometimes it is, and then sometimes people like to see
Afterwards, they
how
like to
who's
wait.
putting in the work
we were
to
so like with us, we're like we don't want to pick a god mom without a god dad, and the god dad is what's hurting us. That's the one that we're
Why
not
not?
sure
Just
on.
pick the godmom. At
Baby,
least
look.
she got one.
Well, I know,
Look,
and that's
I'll be
what
a
I said to
goddad.
Elijah,
I'll be a
but I
male
don't know. I
if
don't know
you
how
need
he
me to.
feels. What?
I said I'll be a male if you need me to.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We can have two god gods.
Throw me in, coach. Period. Throw me in. I know I'm a TT, but look, I'll be a
That's what I'm
TT and a goddad. We'll do whatever we got to do.
We ripping
But
and running.
and Elijah's like worried about if we did pick a mom and a dad from like two separate families, how they would be able to come together and agree on certain things if it came down to it.
Just like co-parents would.
yeah.
You usually have it in writing though too. If you're like really
Yeah.
coming down to it, like if something happens to us, as far as like who actually is the like caregiver, like they
Yeah.
go live with them, like you'd have that in writing.
Yeah.
And like, okay, they're gonna, or maybe it's alternate, like it's co-parenting, like you have them every other week, or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
know.
really have a
We
god.
need
Do you
to
have a goddad?
revisit that.
Godfather?
Your parents are my godparents.
You claimed them. You chose. You
picked
chose.
her own.
Yes.
Because people will always ask at church. Well, they always already thought we were sisters. Your parents were my second parents. And like, okay, so we all went to Church on the Rock. And then your parents would start going to Arca Safety. And you and Chevy were still going to Church on the Rock. And I was like, I'm going to Arca Safety. Like I'm joining. Like I developed a relationship with them. They made me feel like I was no different than any of their other children. So I always wanted to show them my gratitude. I always wanted to do stuff. I always wanted to, okay, well, let me clean up. Let me do whatever I can to show them that I'm grateful for what I had a room in your house. When Mama went and bought my comforter set and all my, I'm like, I thought she was playing.
No,
And
my
it wasn't
parents have
even
always been like that.
And it wasn't even because I needed a room. You want to know really why it was? Because she don't like to share.
No, I don't.
And we were together that much. We were just always together. So my room became the room next to hers.
Yeah.
Mama made sure the bed came upstairs and I got my own cover. She was like, okay, this is your room. And I had my own. I had everything. So her parents and then everybody at church would always ask because Jasmine and I, everybody always say Jasmine and I look just alike. Like, you guys, y'all sisters. Yes. And they're like, oh, okay. So the Dansberries, that's your parents. They're my godparents. And I was like, your parents. Yeah, they're my parents.
Yeah.
That's my second.
That
God
makes
bless
sense.
me. God bless me with 2 sets of parents. He did.
God bless.
That makes sense.
I remember that one time I came home after 12 and Dad was like, now, you run around in those streets now. Young ladies should be in the house.
He loved to say that. He loved to say.
lady
At
should
a
be in the
different
house.
But it was like I
As far as like he don't think that it's because he knows how
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's like, it's really not a good idea for you to be out that late.
Yeah.
Or I remember one time I stopped and got gas. It was on the way home. Like we had been out somewhere and I was stopping on the way home. Could have been 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was like, ladies should not be out
Baby,
getting gas.
that's and that's how he.
this late.
That's how he said it.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were and still are and will always be my. Those are my second parents.
That's dope though to choose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if you end up not having a good relationship? Like what if the kid ends up not having a good relationship with,
With
him?
who
Yeah.
you chose.
Yeah.
I guess that's like always a possibility.
I think that's why we haven't chose yet, because like
You want to see.
I want it to be the
Right.
perfect people. Yeah. I want her to feel like she can go to those people and like be totally herself,
Mm-hmm.
completely comfortable. I'm bleeding everywhere.
If she
I need
can't
you
go
to
to
help
you,
me.
yeah.
How do I use a tampon? You know,
Girl,
like
come
stuff
to
like
TT,
that.
Bitch, I got you.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's how. But I want my children to have the same thing. I want them to feel like even if you feel like you can't go to me for whatever, I want you to feel like you can always come to me
Yeah.
because I know what it feels like to feel like you can't.
Yeah.
I want you to feel like you can always come to me, but even if you can't, I want there to be somebody out there that you feel like you can go to who I trust will give you the proper guidance.
Yeah.
Or would give you the guidance that I would give you, but would also make you feel safe.
Yeah.
And
So
not
what's another
judged.
male in your life? So besides, obviously, you said my dad.
Mm-hmm.
What's another male father figure in your life that's not? Because you said you don't have God. You don't have a God dad or
Right.
God father. So who's a male figure in your life that you go to besides your dad and besides Elijah?
My Uncle BJ.
Yep. I was gonna
Okay.
say the man
My
who
Uncle VJ.
The man who
Okay.
married them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. I know that if I called him, no matter what, he would answer
down to
and
ride.
he'd figure it out.
down
Yeah.
to
He'd
ride.
figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For
Hands down,
100
my
and
Uncle
Nate
BJ.
rolling too.
Yeah. They all coming. They all coming. I got my mans down pat.
At 2:30 in the morning, they coming. They rolling.
Mm-hmm.
They stepping. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
What about you?
Besides my dad. Honestly, it'd probably be one of my uncles.
Yeah.
Probably my Uncle Tony, specifically. Because I have
3.
three uncles.
Tony
Wow.
Boyd and
Ray.
Ray, oldest.
So I'd probably call my Uncle Tony.
On your mom's side?
That's on my
That's
dad's. My
dad's side.
mom's
Oh.
the only child.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's the only child. So I'm just thinking about like another.
Girl, what is you talking
Role.
about? Javon.
Well, that's like my
He a role
brother.
model.
Well,
Yeah.
like that's
He's like your equal almost.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
he's
like a
older than you,
given,
but like
yeah.
he's like
But
yeah.
like it, but when
Somebody
she
that would
say
offer
somebody that
protection
you
and
I'm,
stuff.
would
I'm
call-
thinking
you
somebody
say
else
some-
different. I'm thinking somebody else besides like my like
Immediate
immediate
family.
like my dad and my brother. Like
Got it,
obviously,
got it.
I would call them if
Them
there was
too.
an emergency or whatever. But like, say I can't get a hold of my dad and I can't get a hold of my brother. The next male that I'm thinking of that I'm like, I know he would come no matter what, or if I needed money or life was just lifing, I know I could call my Uncle Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't live that far from us, but I've also always had a good relationship with him, even as a kid. Like he was always like willing to play with us and he was really playful. I was
Yeah.
really close with,
Aunt Kathy.
his kids. Like obviously they're my cousins, but I was really close with them as well. So I would say that's probably the next closest father figure or male in my life that I could call and count on specifically. There's nobody that's I'm not related to though. Do you have somebody that's not related to you that would be considered a male father figure type? I mean, I feel like I could probably call Neil.
That's not related to me.
Yeah, I think that's the part that's like,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's always related to you that would
Yeah.
take on that role, or you could
Yeah.
think you could put that person in, but
Yeah,
you
no,
have
I
to be
don't
people
have
that are
men in my
not
life
related to
like
me.
that.
The only reason why I say this is because you said my parents, and I'm like, you didn't first mention somebody else in your family that's like blood related to you. But like I don't have that. What you have with my parents, I don't have that with somebody else. I think maybe the closest would probably be your parents.
Yeah.
Just because we see them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
And so that's why I was like,
they'll make some shit
you know,
shake.
I
Yeah.
call.
Oh,
They
yeah.
will make some. If you got a problem,
I'm trying to think.
They gonna
I don't
figure it out.
call- One thing about what I call your dad. I think I still call him dad. I think I just call him dad. I call your mom Mama D.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just call your dad dad. I'll just say,
A lot
"Hey,
of people
Dad."
call him like
Mo or Maurice.
or Papa Harry,
Really?
Papa Harry, or
really?
Reese, just Reese. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, Elijah
'Cause I
calls
think
him Reese.
I was gonna say I think Elijah. If I heard him call him that. But
Yeah, Elijah
I
calls
don't-
him Reese.
I'm trying to think. Do I ever call him? I don't think I've ever called him Maurice. I think I've
Yeah.
always just called him dad.
Yeah.
Really?
Most people, Papa Harry or just Reese. Or
But when I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever had to address him
Yeah,
like that.
that's
I
what
think
I
I'm
was.
just like,
I was
Yeah.
trying to search my brain.
Yeah.
If
I just
I'm
call
not
your
talking
dad
to you
dad.
directly.
Yeah.
because I don't.
That's what your dad's name is in my phone. And I know when he called, it's serious. What's up, Dad? Like, I already know.
Guess
Yeah.
he really
And
not
it's going to
calling.
be quick. And he, what's up? I
Yeah.
seen
Yes.
the door. I seen the ring up. Who outside? I'm like, it's the
Yeah.
No, like the actual thought of calling your dad Andre. No.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful. It's like
That's
calling a
bad.
doctor out
I
of their
think
name.
it's because of how close of a relationship we have with each other. Because there are some
Oh, yeah.
friends that I have that I'm not.
That
We're
close
not
with their-
that close. So I'm probably gonna call your parents their first name or Mr. or missus whatever their last name
Yeah.
is, depending on the type of relationship that I even have with you as a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never really
Even
called
my dad
either one of
calls.
yours. If your dad says something, I'm like, "Hey, Dad."
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he says my daughters. What are my daughters? Like if he knows I'm with you guys, he'll be like, what are my girls doing? Or what am I like? He,
Yeah.
But that's
he-
because
how
of
he
our
refers.
relationship is
Yeah.
like we're sisters. Like
Yeah.
we don't. When
Like,
somebody
even when we
asks me,
came
I'm
back
just
from
like,
out of
no, those are
town.
my sisters. I don't
Yeah.
say those are like, those are my best friends. Like,
Yeah.
unless somebody's very like confused.
Yeah.
If somebody's like, obviously she doesn't look like you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, obviously she
Okay.
doesn't look like me. She does have her own set of parents and I
Yeah.
have my own. But like, blood doesn't make us any closer.
Right.
Like, so, yeah.
She my sister, bitch. What about it?
What about it?
Well, what about grandfathers? What is your relationship with your grandfather?
Don't get me
Fathers. Do you have a grandfather?
I just
you
got
have
one
grandparents?
now.
Yeah.
I just got one. But I will say this: I've always only known one.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's mom. She, I think, got married when I was either very young or already had got a divorce by the time I was born. So my mom's father, there's a picture of us when I was like a baby. I got maybe probably 1 year old, 2 years old. And then I don't have anything else. So I don't even remember him passing. My great grandmother, so my mom's grandma, she was married, but he already passed before I was even born. So like on my mom's side, I had nothing, don't remember anything. So I've only known women on my mom's side. My dad's side, my grandpa's still alive. He just turned 90 in May.
Go, granddad.
Oh my God, I would
That's
do
granddad.
anything for my
What you had
grandpa.
today,
Yeah.
granddad? What you had to eat
Anything.
today, granddad? I had a Polish sausage.
His conversations are also like the best ever. Like if you just want a really good like just smile and like burst of like
We
positivity
used
and
to go over there. I
energy.
used to wait for you to ask him. Like she gonna ask him.
You
what
can,
he
because you
ate.
can ask the funny thing is you can ask him any random question and he's gonna answer it like
Seriously
you asked
and
him a
wholeheartedly.
very serious question.
That's so funny.
The funny question for me to always ask him was, Grandpa, what did you eat for breakfast? And he's usually saying something about a sausage, bacon, and he will always tell you the size of what it is. So he will always say, I had a Polish sausage, it was about that big, or he say, I had some bacon, I had about maybe a couple slices about that big, or I had some orange
screaming.
juice, I had some orange juice, I had
'Cause he
about
be so-
that
he
much.
be
He
so
loves to
serious.
tell a
That's
size,
so funny.
or he
so
could
serious.
guess like anybody's weight.
Oh.
Anybody's weight. He loves to people watch, so he will sit in he's in a nursing home, so
Them
he'll sit in
blinds
his
stayed
nursing home
open.
and he will just watch people outside, and he'd be like, yeah, I saw this man trying to get off the UPS truck. He weighed about 150, but he was carrying this box that's probably about 200 pounds. And he's
detail-oriented. He's
I can literally
How
listen to him talk.
funny is
I can listen to him
that?
talk for hours. I would do anything for him. I will slay dragons for that man.
I do not have a grandfather. Just a grandma. I do not have a grandfather. But Emiliana got 3.
She is blessed.
She's like me.
That
She
makes
is
me more
blessed.
happy than me having a grandfather. I just want her to have
She's
grandfathers.
got 3.
It's something
and
about
they
their
love
relationship with your
her.
grandparents,
I know,
though.
All of
they
her
all
grandfathers
love her.
Love her, boy.
Yes.
How can you not love her?
Are you kidding me?
Like, please put up a picture of
My
Emiliana here.
toots.
Like, boop, put it on the screen. How do you not love her?
We love her.
Her rocking now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she walked one day and
And she
then
was like,
stopped.
"That's enough.
No more.
Leave me
no more for you.
alone."
No
But
more
that's
for
usually
you.
how they be.
Yeah.
They be
She's
like, "Okay,
just
you was
give
doing
a
too
little
much."
teaser.
Yeah.
You almost have to be like not paying attention and be like, "All right, cool." And you be like,
Exactly. Exactly.
Your grandfather, one thing I truly, truly, truly miss is listening to him and your grandmother.
"Oh, their
Conversations.
man."
Oh my goodness. After all those years of marriage, Winnie, now
Okay.
listening to that.
She was always right. It didn't matter what.
Oh,
All right, Winnie. Okay, you got it. All right, Winnie.
oh,
And I would be
miss
bugging
it.
up. I would be
'Cause
bugging.
he gonna let her have
My
it.
grandpa is so funny. He don't even realize that he's funny until we start laughing, and he'd be like, "Oh, that was funny, wasn't it?" Like he don't even, and I think that's how my dad is, and that's like where he
Yeah.
got it from, because like my dad's obviously not like this jokester that's sitting there and being like, "Guys,
Oh yeah,
listen
you
to
gotta
me."
pay
He
attention
is
to
if
your
you listen.
dad.
Oh my God!
If you're listening,
If you
he's
listening,
hilarious.
you gonna
When
yeah.
he
everything.
talks, if you listen, you be like, "This man is hilarious."
He's the man. He don't talk just to talk, but when he say something,
Yep.
Be
Yep.
bugging up. So that I feel like that's where he got it
Oh, for
from,
sure.
because my
For
granddaddy
sure.
just be saying just like the wildest shit. Like for real. I just be cracking up laughing. And I wish everybody had a grandpa. I feel like the relationship you have with your grandpa is, it's like this touchy gushy side of you that you're like, wow, I didn't know that was there. But
Yeah.
like, I will do anything for this person. Like, if you freaking blink at him wrong, I'm chopping your neck.
Yeah.
that's it.
So yeah,
It's over for you.
I need everybody to have a grandpa, which is why I'm so glad London. She's got 2 grandpas that love her so
Yeah.
much, and everybody needs a grandpa.
We love you, grandpas.
Yes, grandpas. It's your
Yes,
Father's Day
it
too.
is. Yes, it is. Nobody forget about the grandpas.
Okay.
Period. Well, how many, you have 3?
I had 3,
Had 3.
and my grampy.
You call him
I had a
Grampy.
Grampy.
I had a grampy. I had a granddaddy, my granddaddy Thomas, which was my dad's father. He passed when I was like 5. So we were little, we were young, but I do remember him. Then my grandmother remarried, so that's my grampy, and
Okay.
our relationship is like Lennon and Dad's.
Oh,
He would pick me up from school every day. He would take me to Burger King every day.
Okay.
We would go to Quip Trip and get me a cappuccino when he got his cup.
Ha, ha,
Grampy,
ha.
you gonna take me to Quip Trip and get me a cappuccino?
That's
I
so
love
cute.
Grampy. I don't know why
Yeah,
I've never
Grampy's
heard.
really cute. I've never heard that.
anybody say that. Grampy.
Grampy.
That's
I
so
used to
cute.
call him Boppy. Because I couldn't say
Okay.
Grampy. And
Aw.
then when I could talk, I
Boppy.
called him Grampy.
Grampy's cute.
That is
I
really
used to
cute.
have,
I
water
like that a
gun
lot.
fights, and he'd let me have a water gun. And he'd have a little spray bottle. I used to
Aww.
go behind the tree.
I love that.
Yeah. I
Grampy's
used
up there
to-
now with me for like Paw Paw. I love Paw Paw.
I was about to
Or
say,
Pop Pop.
is that what
London
him?
calls my dad Paw Paw.
Papa.
And she also calls her other grandpa Paw Paw. So whatever,
Oh, okay.
whenever she's trying to make the difference, she's like Paw Paw Kelly. Or and
Oh,
I
girl.
think because since I still live with my parents for right now, she just calls him Paw Paw. So whenever she's referring to my dad, she'll just say just Paw Paw. And then when she's talking about her other grandpa, whenever she goes there, Paw Paw Kelly.
Oh, okay.
Just
That's how she
Paw Paw.
kind of like differentiates them.
Yeah.
Only because like when she's here, obviously since we live here, she's not always gonna say Papa Dansbury said, like every single
Yeah.
time. She just says Papa
Papa.
said.
Yeah.
So that's how, I guess, since his last name is a little bit shorter, it makes
Yeah.
it easier.
Papa Kelly.
Right.
So my mom's dad, he wasn't necessarily in my mom's in them life a lot. He had a lot of families. So she had about 14 siblings. So,
Nice.
and he was a truck driver, so they was everywhere. So-
Gotcha.
but
They was everywhere.
yeah, they was everywhere. And so when he and my grandmother divorced before she got remarried, he literally lived around the corner from my
Oh,
granny
nice.
and my grampy.
That's the best, to have them be that close.
Yeah.
So I would go over
Oh, my
there, and my
God.
mom always told me, he never gave us nothing. He always gave me money. I don't know what y'all talking about.
That's the one thing that I'm like, I would, but you at least have a grandma. I don't know what I'm gonna do the day that I had no grandparents. Like literally, I
Yeah.
don't know what. But like, I'm sure Nanny does this. Like whenever you need something, where she like just gives you
Oh,
money randomly.
Venmo here, Venmo there. Hey, I
went
just
to
sent
my
you
granny
$100.
house
Come
yesterday.
on, Venmo.
Okay.
But like, no, I feel like grandparents like do that a lot. Obviously, because they're probably
I
not
feel
going
like it's
nowhere.
how
They just got
show
extra money.
love.
Let me
Like
tell
But
they
you to be
do
like, here's $20, put in your
They
pocket.
see you
Today.
all the time. They don't really know what you like. Like
they're
they're
just
not
like, give
with
me-
you
give me
enough
cash.
to know every single thing that you like, so they don't know what to buy you. So just like, here's money. I got my check. Here it goes to my grandkids. Like that's just what they. I feel like that's just
My
what
granny did that when
grandparents
she
do.
would win a
Yesterday.
lottery. She would like play our birthday. So like our birthday one, she'd be like, here's some money. And I'd be like, no, you did not.
Yesterday, I went to my granny house yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
She gave me a salad. She gave me
Yep.
2 pair of pants, and she gave me $200.
Fine. Yes. We love
I told her I was
grandparents.
Yeah.
struggling. All I had to do was mention it because of my bills, and I can't.
Period. They open up
Stop
that
over
wallet
here.
real
She said, "What
quick.
you doing on your break?"
Yeah.
What you doing on your break?
I
Come
said,
get
"Well, I'm
this
going
money.
back in right now." Okay, well, when you get off,
Aw.
call me. The door be open. Come on over.
Come get this
You
money.
need some brakes on the truck. Your daddy told me. You got the money? Okay, well, don't be over there suffering now. Tell Granny. Like,
Grandparents always
Yeah,
want
I
to.
hate-
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll pay you back, Granny. She's like, you don't have to pay me back. I'm your grandma. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on.
Period.
Let me stop myself.
Thank you
right
for the
quick.
grandparents. Like for
they're
real.
blessed.
Yeah.
For real.
They really
I mean,
are.
to all the grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah.
But especially, obviously, on this episode, the grandfathers
Yes.
and the dads. It's
Mm-hmm.
really something special when you have a good one.
Yeah.
And if you get the extra blessing to have more than one.
Yeah.
That, like,
That's really what it was.
it's just
because
extra love.
what would be considered my bonus grandfather was my primary grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did everything with me. We would lay in
Bonuses
the
are the
bed and
best.
watch Cheers and take
Come
a
on,
nap.
bonus.
And I used to walk up to him and I'd be like, Grampy, where my dollars? And he'll
No.
walk me over to the dresser and he'll open the little jewelry box. He said it right there. So this was my first birthday that I had to deal with. He passed last year on my birthday. And so this birthday was the first birthday that I had to go through without like the
Mhm.
actual shock of like
Yeah.
and deal with it. And I just celebrated he and I.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so you guys just watched a part 2 episode of the Father's Day, and we just definitely want to say thank you to all the fathers out there. You
Yes.
guys are
We salute
awesome, amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and so important in our lives, as you can tell with all of the
Yes.
memories and good times that we've shared with you guys. We want to make sure that you guys tell a friend about the Drip Drive
To
podcast,
tell their homegirl.
because that's the only way we're going to grow, and that's the only way we're going to stay.
Yeah.
If you guys don't want to see this, we'll hang it up.
Oh, no.
Just kidding. We won't.
No.
We don't care if 2 people
Sorry
watch.
about you.
Hold on. Cut the tape.
Yes.
Sorry about
So
you.
we are here to stay, but we want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We will post behind the scenes and different clips of the Drip Drive podcast. Definitely hit that bell so you're notified every single time we upload a brand new video.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. If I could cut your ass off and put it
Okay,
online.
because I was just, yo, you
It's the shorts.
It's
It's
the
the
walks.
shorts.
Well,
Who
it's the
wears
shorts, but
shorts?
I've
Shorts.
been doing those walks with those hills.
The way
I'm trying to
it
lift her.
jiggled when she
She
the
needs
way
to lift, and the hips need to come in.
No, the hips are
Lifting it.
the hips are perfect. Don't get rid of your hips.
and it jiggled a little bit on
Well, I swear it doesn't move. In Vegas, I went on a walk with Vegas, and she was behind me, and she was
It's
like,
the
"What do you
cupping.
do with
It's
all that?" And I said, "I
jiggling.
don't." I had Gymshark shorts
It's
on, so everything was
jiggling.
sucked in. She was like, "It's all moving." I was
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't
It's-
want it to
It did
move."
like
It's the
This is a good thing.
cuppage. It's the cuppage.
Cuppage.
The cuppage.
It's
Your
the
butt. Your
shorts.
butt does this on the bottom. It's like a
Hey.
perfectly round cuppage, and you're just looking at it like, if my booty would
piece of
cup
work.
like
It's
that.
a
Like if
piece of
you went to
art.
the Chris Brown meet and greet and he got to cup your booty,
He would be honored.
you're not leaving.
Oh.
He would
You're
be
not
honored.
leaving. He's gonna say, put her over there on the side.
No, and I'd be like, "Take me."
Take me.
I do not have a husband. Here, hold this.
I do
Hold my
not
ring.
have a husband. She gonna
Look, and I ain't telling no motherfucker. He's like, where was y'all? We went back to the room. Okay, the blind
I was
leading
just
the
hanging
blind.
out, right?
nothing.
I ain't seen a motherfucker.